Good morning. And today, as I'm sure all of you know, is National Banana Day. Okay. Banana Day is 17th on the Christian calendar. It is the day 3 days prior to Easter Sunday, where the disciples, it started as part of the Stations of the Cross. The second time, what we now know today is, or we consider today as the second time he fell with the cross. Didn't actually fall. Well, he fell, but it was because he slipped on a banana peel. Now, bananas were very popular in the Holy Land at that time, as many of the Holy Land landmarks are named after famous banana growers. And so we celebrate here at the DuQuette House every year, and I hope you do too. And a blessed International Banana Day to you. And as a matter of fact, I posted on my Facebook page a clip of the Banana Man. Okay, is the patron saint of, and it was from a clip from Captain Kangaroo, and he appeared every year or so on Captain Kangaroo. He's an old vaudeville entertainer, clown, and if you haven't enjoyed the Banana Man, I invite you to go to my Facebook page and see that, or Google a YouTube of it. So, in honor of Banana Day and the lightheartedness associated with Banana Day, I want to talk about schizophrenia and suicide. Two subjects, okay. And I answered just a couple of short letters in Ask Babylon about it. But before I talk about the first one, I want to refresh our memory about the rights of man as outlined in Libra Oz. Now, Libra Oz is a series of the rights of humanity, of rights of every human being, man, woman, child. Okay, it's not a Class A document of Crowley's. It's just a statement by Aleister Crowley, and it's put in a way where it says man has the right to do this, man has the right to do that, but it's universal, so it's everybody has the right to do it. And in particular, I like to read it as I have the right to do this or that. So I'm going to just review it. There is no God but man. I have the right to live by my own law, to live in the way that I will to do, to work as I will, to play as I will, to rest as I will, to die when and how I will. I have the right to eat what I will, to drink what I will, to dwell where I will, to move as I will on the face of the earth. I have the right to think what I will, to speak what I will, to write what I will, to draw, paint, carve, etch, mold, build as I will, to dress as I will. I have the right to love as I will, when, where, and with whom I will. I have the right to kill those who would thwart these rights. Love is the law, love under will. None of that means that any of that is wise to do at any given moment, even though it is my right. It may be my right, but it might momentarily not be in my best interest. So, that being said, as we see many rights, civil rights, civic rights, national rights, artificial rights, let's say, being deteriorated, removed, pulled away, denied around us. It's good to know deep inside, anyway, what your rights are as a human being. So, there's two letters. And one of those in particular is I have the right to die when and how I will. And somebody wrote me a note many years ago, and I answered the letter, and it concerned suicide. Hello, Babylon. Sorry to bother you on this humid Monday morning, but I was wondering if you had time for a quick question. Okay. Questions are quick. Answers sometimes aren't. I was wondering, when you die, where are you supposed to go if you do the thelema thing? I'm not making fun of this person. It's just, I find that amusing. Okay. Where are you supposed to go when you do the thelema thing? Or do you just stop existing? Or is there another life or something? Also, are there rules if you're Christian, like if you're Christian and you commit suicide, you can't go to heaven? You can't get into heaven? So are there rules in thelema, like the Christians have the rule that if you commit suicide, you die? And I'm not sure what the guy's getting at here, and I don't want to speculate or crawl any deeper into his head here. But if I don't make sense and you don't want to bother, that's cool. But I'm trying to figure out some stuff with little success. And here's kind of a disturbing thing here. Have a great day. Thank you for being nice to me and putting up with all my stupidity. Name withheld. Now, obviously, there's some self-image doubts. Okay, there's issues there going on, and I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a professional mental health person, and I don't want to do or say the wrong thing or something that might exacerbate the situation or add to anyone's existing pathologies. But I feel obliged to at least respond in the most truthful and way possible. Dear name withheld. The honest answer is I don't know. So I don't know what happens after you die. I don't know, and neither does anyone else. The book of the law says, I feast, rejoice. there is no dread hereafter, unquote. Does that mean there is no dread hereafter? Or there is no dread hereafter? Or both? Or something altogether different? One thing as Thelemites do a great deal with, one thing we as Thelemites do deal with is the concept of the consciousness of the continuity of existence. The question of whether or not we retain the consciousness of the continuity of our existence, or if it is something that needs to be developed over time and incarnations, I don't know. The Egyptians and the Tibetans seem to suggest it is something to shoot for. I don't believe in the classic Christian concept of heaven and hell. I do, however, know that if we don't understand the nature of consciousness, and that in altered states of consciousness, such as the death coma, time does not behave in a way that as it does when we are fully alive, and not in the death coma. I believe that pleasant or unpleasant experiences can occur to us depending upon the state of mind of the expiring individual. I believe we all have the right to die when and how we will, and that suicide is not, in every case, the wrong exit method. However, I believe if a person commits suicide while his or her mind is unbalanced or tormented or fearful, that increases the chances of unpleasantness during the death coma and would likely interfere with the natural flow of things. In other words, I believe if one is resolved to end one's life, one should be joyful and at peace with the idea that one's work is fulfilled, that this is absolutely the best moment to begin a new and wonderful adventure. However, if we're doing it because we're bummed out, we are probably just going to make things worse. I hope this has been helpful. Okay. The next little thing, it's not directly related to that I want to share in the time we have left this morning. Is a question concerning, is it wise to evoke angels or demons for financial help? Everyone you can get, okay? Hi, Babylon. I've been I must admit I'm not much of a magician. My interest has always been in the psychology of change. Well, that's psychology of magic as far as I'm concerned. I've never seriously attempted the angel and demon stuff since the illustrations in your illustrated Goetia scared the shit out of me. Those are drawings by David Wilson. Yeah. Some of these guys look curiously familiar, but then this is a strange neighborhood. However, my life at 63 is more demanding than ever. My wife died by her own hand 5 years ago, leaving me twin sons to bring up, 21 years old. I cared for my wife till her death, which meant we lived off of savings, and now I'm broke. I have a new partner and intend picking up my former career as a commercial artist, but need money to set the lads up. Both were emotionally damaged by their mother's death and have had problems with drugs and the law in their own place. And that's another thing to consider, whether this is actually the best time to exit. Okay. I have also another son, 31, who is schizophrenic and in and out of the hospital. My partner and I intend to move south and spend our last years working in our own studio. The only thing that stops us is the lack of money. My question is, would it be wise to ask the angels or demons for help? I've always believed that it was wrong to try to use magic for personal gain. But unless I get some real money, my life is going to be entirely useless and pointless. It feels like there is something preventing me from achieving my desires. I would appreciate any advice you could toss my way. Okay. Well, here's what I said at the time, and this is how I answered that at the time. Dear Name Withheld, unless you feel particularly undeserving of success, I see no reason not to apply your magical efforts toward enriching your life and improving your financial material situation. The fact is, whether you recognize it or not, you are already applying your magical efforts toward these ends. At the moment, however, you're just not doing very well. That being said, you may be unknowingly working your magic more successfully in other areas of your life, areas that are perhaps just as or even more important than money. It sounds like you've been through some rough times and are still having to deal with some serious challenges. I'm sure I don't have to tell you suicide, drugs, cops, schizophrenia are in-your-face demons in anybody's book. They're in your life because your dharma or your karma, or whatever you want to call it, for reasons, you present. Let's see, how did I say this? They are in your life because of your dharma or karma, or whatever you want to call reasons for your present existence. It is because your karma has put them there. Dealing with these very real demons for one's family and oneself is as magically heroic as any formal Goetic evocation, and certainly renders your life anything but pointless and useless. If I were to offer any advice based on the few words you've written me, I would counsel you to first make sure the spiritual forces that are already in your life are securely in the triangle, and that they are reasonably under control. Then determine what you really want. Do you want money, or do you want the happiness and satisfaction you think the money will bring to your life? If it's the latter, then work your magic to achieve that. Why evoke a demon for cash when you really need to invoke a muse to charge your golden years with artistic ecstasy? I'm sure this is not the kind of advice you wanted, but it's the middle of the night and I get preachy. I sincerely wish you the very best of luck. And what does all that have to do with bananas? I don't know. I'll call and find out. Anyway, slip into a wonderful day. Until tomorrow, continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. Do what thou wilt, shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will.